welcome to the 2019 Vancouver Wooden Boat Festival. Really shaping up to be a fantastic festival. We get some wonderful weather, we get some wonderful boats. Going to show you every single one. Cheers. Hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. My name is Peter and this good looking fellow here is Geordie, and we live together on a classic wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia, all the while fixing it up for some pretty extensive cruising. If that's the sort of thing you might be interested in, why don't you consider sticking around and subscribing? We'd love to have you.
Yes, puppy boy. Well, hey there, if you'd like your very own Travels with Geordie t-shirt, just stick around to the end of the episode and we'll show you how you can win one.
So a couple little projects before we slip our lines tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Lots to do, lots to do. Quickie bike rack for a couple little cute old vintage rally folders. It sort of seems funny to put them on the roof in a bike rack and not fold them, but ironically, they're not that easy to handle folded. Cute though. Okay, so here's a project I've wanted to do for a long time. Cockpit shower. Hey, hot and cold. I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so PEX coming from the water system. Used a cheap garden variety, literally, splitter, but I used it around the other way, so basically hot and cold coming in. Gives me two ball valves to adjust the temperature. A couple of adapters, two stainless steel hose, to what is actually a up-high sprayer waterer for filling plants up in pots up high, but it works perfectly as a shower head and it locks on. And if I can do it with one hand, there you go. Hook it over that and hot shower on the swim grid. Love it, love it, love it. Hanging pictures, good picture of Griffin and Geordie. Installing VHF antennas, remember 5200 is not your friend, butyl tape is. And a 6 a.m. departure from Victoria, on our way over to the Vancouver Wooden Boat Festival. We'll stay probably on Maine Island tonight, but who knows, we'll keep you up to date. See you in a couple of weeks, Victoria. It's splendid to be out. Okay, so first stop on North Pender Island. We're gonna run across the cove here. We're in Browning Harbor to the Twin Islands Cidery. Looking forward to that. What a perfect day. Cheers. Gallons of cider. All right, wonderful people, wonderful cider. Yes, we came away with several bottles. Okay, it's a 5-minute walk back to the government wharf. So we're going to pull up the hook and head over to Maine Island. We're going to spend the night in Active Pass, which is an interesting place. It's where the ferries come through from Vancouver. Very active and wicked current when the tide is running. Interesting. So this is Active Pass. This is the ferry from Vancouver to Victoria. Right behind us is the small island ferry, and just beyond is the big ferry from Victoria to Vancouver, and they normally pass right here, which would have been incredible timing for us to be with them here, but we're running a little late. But it's an active pass. Plus there's 3.5 knots of current in here right now. We're scooting along at over 10 knots. It's active. So this evening we're going to stay in here, which is Miners Bay, which is the little bay in the village on Maine Island. Here we are on the old favorite
Campbell Bay. Yes, we were stopped in at Minor Bay there on Active Pass for a little while, but after a few ferries went by, the wake was more than significant. It just didn't really work out. So we came around the corner to the much beloved Campbell Bay. Really good spot. And this is where we'll spend the night, head out to Vancouver in the morning. What do you think, pup? Time for steak? Poor buddy doesn't get steak. Well, good morning, and we're up and out of Campbell Bay on our way across the strait to Vancouver. 6 o'clock. We're leaving early, make sure the winds are down. Beautiful. And out of the strait and around the corner into English Bay, always full of freighters. And not too far off, the towers of Vancouver. We're going to tuck in just to the right into False Creek. I always get a little excited when I come into a big city like this. Been tied up for 5 minutes. First stop, always on Granville Island, is Liberty Distillery for one of them fantastic gin and tonics. Okay, I was asked to actually help, but I have to shoot footage. This is Deer Leap. This is the most incredible classic wooden boat, fantail beauty. I'll put the camera down in a second and actually be useful. I said to find you, but it turns out you were already in the right spot.
Yeah.
Just bringing in some more boats. Just coming in. Just brought this beauty in. I've never seen this boat before. This is quite something. Wow. They've moved us around the corner, tucked in against this little steamer. This was handmade by the owner, the boat and the engine. We'll have a chat with him. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so I've been on a bicycle for 25 years. That's because I was in a car wreck years and years ago, and they fixed up a leg that was pretty badly mangled, and they said, that's it, no more water skiing, no more horseback riding, no more skiing, no more skateboarding, no more bicycling. Well, I was okay with most of that, but I'd always been a bike person. This is the second time in my life I've ever worn a helmet. But it's the way of the world. These bike paths are awesome. I mean, really. Why wouldn't you bike everywhere? Whee! Well, folks, as I sit here in Prudhoe Haven and Desolation Sound, editing the video you're watching, I'm aghast to discover that I have lost a ton of footage. And it's happened to me before, and it's just devastating. So, from about halfway through the Wooden Boat Festival until, as you can about find out, coming out of Gibson's several days later, there's nothing, a big void. That wouldn't be so bad if it didn't include all the footage of all the tours of all the boats, which I went to some trouble to do because I did get a little grief that at the last Wooden Boat Festival I didn't really pay much attention to the boats, so I thought I might improve upon that. Anyway, so sorry.
And good morning. Just left Gibson's on the Sunshine Coast of the Strait of Georgia. Change of plans today. It's absolutely blowing a stink out in the strait, and apparently there's 18-inch seas, so we opted out of that. We're going to spend the day goofing around up here in Howe Sound. This is just the mouth of Howe Sound. It goes all the way up to the town of Squamish. And it's sort of like a mini desolation. You can see some pretty good mountains around here. Nice place to spend the day. The island you can see ahead of us has 3 deep bays in it that look like quite nice anchorages. We'll stay in one of them tonight and do a little exploring. Really, actually a magical spot. I haven't really been too much, and we're really glad that we've had an opportunity to come in here today. Howe Sound creates a natural barrier for those who are driving north from Vancouver up the Sunshine Coast. As a result, instead of driving all the way inland there's a ferry, which you'll just see behind me, that crosses over from Horseshoe Bay, Vancouver, over here into the town of Gibson's and continues on. In fact, to go all the way up the Sunshine Coast, there's 3 places you have to take a ferry to get across. But we don't. Well, good morning. Welcome to Port Graves, which was the easternmost of the 3 little bays on Gambari Island in the mouth of Howe Sound. Spent the night in here. Just a fabulous little spot, real quiet, real smooth. About half a dozen boats came in here. That's a public wharf, and it goes up into a network of paths and stuff. Really, really sweet spot. When you can't get out into the strait, this is a pretty good little hideaway. So, it seems awfully calm in here, doesn't it? But it's still blowing a stink out in the strait. But we're gonna make a run for it and try to get up the Sunshine Coast to Desolation Sound in the next day or so. Good boy. We're walking a trail on Gambari Island, and when the old growth was taken out of here, these were big, big trees. You can see the latter generations growing right out of the stumps. This is a really good example, and I apologize, I forget what these are called, but to cut these massive trees down, they would cut these little slots, these little teeth in the trunk, and stick a piece of wood in there to create a little plank to stand on, a bit of a diving board to cut up at that level. And it's always been amazing to me that, you know, that was a pretty rudimentary technique. And you can see them all through the old growth forests in British Columbia. I don't know if it's universal all over the world. I never heard of it till I came out here because the trees are so bloody big out here. Well, hello and welcome to this week's Beer of the Week. We're this week live from Desolation Sound up the Sunshine Coast. We've just come through Powell River, and as a result, we're going to have one of Townsite Brewing's from Powell River's finest ales. This is actually called the Blackberry Festive Ale, and that's because Powell River has a Blackberry Festival in mid-August every year. I mean, blackberry everything, jam, scones, ice cream, everything including beer. And I've never had this, although I know a few people have told me it's pretty awesome. Let's have a go here at Townsite Brewing's Festive Ale. I was going to say, I imagine it would be darker than that, but it's actually completely ale colored. If you're looking over my shoulder, you can see the beautiful mountains, which are the backdrop to Desolation Sound, where we're going to spend the next couple of days. Absolutely fabulous up here. So, cheers. Wow, that is quite yummy. Not too much berry in it. It's just an ale with a bit of fruitiness. No, really awesome. Love that. Okay, well, as those of you who watched from the beginning of the episode know that there's an opportunity to win a t-shirt if you follow this far along. And as we're about to anchor in Prito Haven, this week's word will be haven. So all you have to do is leave a comment down below with the word haven in it, and you're in the running for a free t-shirt. And I draw at random from the first 24 hours worth of comments. And cheers to last week's winner, Scott Hitt. Hope you enjoy your t-shirt. Cheers. See y'all next week.